She's banging. I'm on fine out though.
It's the best.
Bromelain, it's good for you.
Alright, so when you talk, it's just a conversation with Alex. You don't have to do anything special.
Okay.
Do you want to have her just say who she is and...
Yeah, your name and then...
Josephine Interview. I'm Mario's mom. Is that good?
Yeah. Okay, so we were talking to Mario for like the last hour, obviously, and he was talking about the insurance issues that you guys faced with going through all these procedures, medicine. So, explain in your way of what happened with that.
Well, everything was fine while we had insurance. When Mario was first diagnosed, we had really good insurance. And actually, at some point, I remember calling up like the hospitals. He used to go for Remicade infusions. It would be like $39,000. And I'd be like, well, the medicine's only $1,000. Like, why does it cost so much to just hook him up to an IV for 4 hours? And they'd say, well, you don't have to pay. What do you care? And they would pay. Well, once we lost our insurance, then the story was it was a totally different story then. His monthly medicine was well over $4,000 a month. In the beginning, we were getting some help, maybe the first month or two. Then we couldn't do it anymore, so he had to go under the Affordable Care Act. While you're under 18, it does cover most of the medication. Once you're past 18, then you're on your own. It's really hard to get insurance in the state of New Jersey. I made several phone calls. We called several agencies. I used to sit down in social services 5-6 hours a day because he needed the medication. And, they tell you unless you are an illegal immigrant, unless you're a recovering drug addict, unless you're a recovering alcoholic, or unless you have a child, you cannot get insurance in the state of New Jersey at that point before the Affordable Care Act came in, once you get past the age of 18, or unless you're disabled. So it was a struggle. We used to have to sit with him hours in social services. We had to lie. We had to actually lie to get him insurance because I said to them, unless he has his medication, he will die. And they basically said, well, we're really sorry, but we can't help you. Then you call up the pharmaceutical companies because they have plans that help you pay for medication. But we didn't qualify. So I couldn't get help from them either. So, medication and even just plain finding doctors that would treat him was horrible, horrible, horrible. Even with the Affordable Care Act, once that took place, we couldn't find a doctor on the plan that would take him. Then they question all the medication that you're on. They could either deny it or not deny it. It would take like a month to get approval for one medication. So it was a big struggle. It's a big struggle in the state of New Jersey to get coverage that will cover, and especially for people that are very ill. It's a big struggle.
You said you need to be qualified, and what were they saying? What did he need to have?
No, you need to be either an illegal immigrant. Okay. Once you're 18, this is. Okay, now I think now it's changed, like ever since the Affordable Care Act came in. But at that time, in the state of New Jersey, your parents have to keep you under their benefit plans until you're 26, okay? The government does not have to do that. Once you're 18, the government drops you from, it's called New Jersey Family Care. That's if your parents lose their job or lose their insurance, then the state of New Jersey picks you up until you're 18 or graduate high school. They will pick up your coverage for you. Okay, sometimes, in our case, we didn't have to pay because my husband lost his job, but in some cases, if you make a certain amount of money, then you just have to pay a portion of it. Once you're 18, they drop you. And then you cannot get insurance in the state of New Jersey unless you met the following: illegal immigrant, recovering drug addict, a recovering alcoholic, if you had mental illness or disability, which you had to prove. We tried that also. We had his doctors do all the paperwork to show that he was disabled and could not work, and they denied it. He had to go for counseling and mental exams. He went through everything, and they denied us for that. Or if you have a child, if you and a partner have a child, once the child gets coverage in the state of New Jersey, then you're covered up until the child is 19 years old. But if you're sick and dying and need medication, they will not cover you.
Jeez. So,
That's wild.
Okay. At one point, I actually called. It was right around Sandy, and I remember Governor Christie was down in Lavalette, and I even called his office every day. I used to write to him every day, and someone did call me back from his office. And about 2 weeks later, Mario wound up getting coverage. We had to lie. We had to say he was homeless, that his father threw him out of the house, that he was sleeping on his friend's couch. Well, he had to because I couldn't. That he had no money, he had no place to stay, and that he couldn't pay for his way. And then they gave him, not only did they give him coverage, then they gave him like $200 a month to support himself, which to me did not make sense. If you're sick, you don't get help. You know, I guess they must have thought like he was a recovering drug addict or something. You know, at that point I didn't care. I don't teach my kids to lie, but unless he had the medication, he was going to die. So you know what? We did what we had to do, and that's the only way they would give him coverage.
jeez. So now at this point, you guys are covered.
We think, well, okay, now we got past the first hurdle.
Okay.
So now
Yeah.
he's got medication, which is great. Now we try to find a doctor. That's a totally, completely different story because they'll give you coverage. No one takes it. Mario we went all over for opinions. We knew he needed surgery. So we went to this doctor in New York, you know, and he outright told us, you know, we had no insurance, or he had that insurance. He's like, I can't help you. Like, we'll even make payments. And he's like, the surgery is very expensive. There's no way. We called a lot of rectal surgeons. No one took it. In order to get that kind of surgery, he would have had to have gone to just a regular general surgeon who probably never, you know, was not familiar with what he had or had the surgery had to be done. And I wasn't going to chance him getting that done. Could not find anybody in the state of New Jersey to cover him as far as that went. When we did find this doctor in New York, even after he did Mario surgery, he would have to write the prescriptions. We found a doctor, a very nice doctor in New York, in Bricktown. We explained the situation. So he would write the prescriptions. He would give them to that doctor, who was a gastro. He would write them in New Jersey, and that's how we would get Mario's. You know, we feel like you're doing something illegal, but that's what you have to do.
How did you go about finding that doctor, Dr. Hirsch?
Dr. Hirsch. My son Nico, who's 2 years older than Mario, played college football. And he met this football player who sat out for a year. And just in talking, you know, they were talking about illnesses, how they feel. He found out that he had ulcerative colitis also. And that he went to a doctor in New York who did a surgery, removed the colon, did a J pouch. And a year later, he was back on the football field playing football. He did play for the rest of the 3-4 years, and he was fine. And so he gave us the number, but I was really, really against the surgery. You know, Mario probably should have had the surgery a year or two earlier, but I was like so determined that something would work. You know, it was a major surgery. A lot of things could go wrong, a lot of things could go right, and I finally like caved in. And I said, okay, let's go and get an opinion from him. We did have appointments with 2 doctors in New Jersey. It was like a 6-month wait. And we were on the list, but unfortunately we never got called. Mario couldn't wait 6 months. But that's how we met Dr. Hirsch.
Can you tell us about how he helped you through this process? I know he
Oh boy. He
did
was
a
like,
favor and
he didn't even, you know what?
Yeah.
Some doctors I feel are special people.
Mhm.
You don't find too many of them in your life. Like I said, when we went to go see him, you know, the whole crew went, me, my husband, my daughter, you know, big Italian family. You know, he thought it was funny. We all sat in there. My daughter had the notebook asking him questions. And, you know, he always said to us, you know, because we knew Cody, he always said, you know, if I could help you in any way. He even gave us the name of the doctor that we had the appointment with, that Robert Wood, that we couldn't get in. Someone had referred me also to him earlier, and they wound up being, they went to school together. So they both knew the same surgery. You know, he always told us, you know, Mara, if you ever have any questions, if I can help you with anything, you know, just give me a call. We thought about doing we thought about doing so many things for him to try to get the surgery. Nothing. At that point, Mario decided, I can't do it anymore. The medication was really, really making matters worse for him. he was getting really weak, was losing a lot of weight, couldn't even go anyplace. I mean, it got to the point where my son Vito would literally have to carry him, like from the car to the house. The pain was bad, and I just didn't know what to do. And one day he got really sick, and he's like, "Mom, I just can't do this." We didn't know what to do, and I says, "Okay, why don't we email Dr. Hirsch? It doesn't hurt. Tell him the pain you're in. Ask him what he suggests that we do." So this was in March, but we saw Dr. Hirsch. It was probably about 2 months before that. Mario emailed him. He said, "Dr. Hirsch, this is Mario Starita Cody's friend. I'm really, really sick. My mom don't know what to do." And he said to him, "Tell your mom, get you in the car, drive you to NYU. If she can get you to the 16th floor through the emergency room, I'll have my crew there and I'll take care of it." At this point, I didn't know really what he meant by "I'll take care of it," but we just figured, okay, we got him in the car. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning. I got lost. I remember that. And it was like, I didn't even know where I was going. I was a nervous wreck. I didn't want to lie. You think you're doing something illegal, So I was like, let's bring a book bag. We'll tell them that, you were visiting schools. Because I was afraid they were going to throw him out. I didn't know what they were going to do. So we get him into the emergency room, which was still recovering from Sandy. So it was like a makeshift emergency room. We told him that he was visiting colleges. He has ulcerative colitis. He's in a lot of pain. We can't drive back. We need someone to look at him. The one thing that really surprised me about that hospital, and I didn't know if sometimes it's coincidence or it's just God's fate. Like, no one even asked us if we had insurance. No one asked us for an insurance card. They didn't ask us anything. They just asked for Mario's ID. We gave it to him. They sat us down, and she's like, "You know what?" She had a doctor looked at him, and then he's like, "We'll bring you up to the 16th floor." And like, me and Mario looked at each other like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this." And finally, Dr. Hirsch did see him that day. Mario was really, really weak. He's like, they had to give him, oh my God, I just went blank. Like nutrition. They had to put a PICC line in him and just get him built up a little bit before they even did the surgery because he was really, really weak. So he stayed in there for a couple of days. And after giving him some supplement and building him up, they did the surgery. I never got an emergency room bill, a doctor bill. I never, till this day, even with the second surgery, have never received anything from NYU billing me for anything, which is amazing. It's amazing. I have to tell you, only because last month we had to go to Jersey Shore with Mario, emergency. I was literally there maybe 2 hours, okay? They'd do some blood work. And I just received a bill for almost $6,000 for 2 hours. They did nothing but to give blood work. And I'm like, how is this possible? How, NYU you're talking about now. You're talking about the best surgeon. He's a professor. I never got a bill. Jersey Shore Medical, 2 hours, blood work, $6,000.
It's ridiculous.
That's a problem. Now I have insurance. Even with my insurance, okay, it's about $1,800 out of pocket that I have to pay.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I went there. I had an allergy reaction, and they didn't do anything. They didn't give me Benadryl. And it was like $3,000. But yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous.
$6,000 for it was an ER visit.
Well, the doctor, yes,
Yeah.
it was $30-something for the using the emergency room facilities, and then it was like 18 or 15 for the doctor, which
Jeez.
never even saw.
Yeah, did blood work.
Never even saw. Told me to take him home. So that, yeah.
It's still
And because
$1,800.
now I have insurance that I pay $800 a month for. When you don't have insurance, and let's say the bill is $6,000, okay, then under charity care, whatever, okay, well maybe the hospital will accept $200, $300. When you do have insurance, regardless, you have to pay. If they only pay 50% of that bill, I have to pay the other 50, even though I have insurance.
Jeez. So after that happened, you didn't get the bill.
No.
He's continuing taking medication. He has to. How is that being covered?
Well, now I have insurance. I got a job, and actually, I most of my paycheck just goes for insurance. I don't even cover my husband. I just cover myself and Mario. I pay, I think it's $760 a month. My job pays some of it. I have $3,000 deductible per person, $8,000 per family. $12,000 in network, and $23,000 total before they pay 100%. So even with insurance, it's hard. It's still hard. You know, I pay now. It's not bad. I probably pay, I don't know, anywhere between $100 and $300 a month for medication, which is still a lot considering I have insurance and I have to pay insurance. But it's better than paying $3,000-4,000 a month.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's just crazy, isn't it? I know. No one, you know.
Survive.
No. Now Mario's on a new medication now. I think the insurance covers it, but that's like $1,500 a month when we used to have it. It's insane. When he was on the Asacol, which a lot of people are on, Asacol is almost $3,000 a month. Like, how do people afford that if they don't have coverage? It's insane.
And for the purposes of this documentary, what is something you want to say to, you know, get your voice heard? Because it sounds like, you know, everyone's ignoring everyone.
Yeah, you know what? There has to be. It's not right that we have to lie. As citizens, I became a citizen. When I came to this country when I was 5 years old, I became an American citizen. My mother became an American citizen. My dad, you know, we became citizens. We were proud of it. Something has to be done. Okay, not only in New Jersey, all over, that an American citizen in this day and age cannot get health coverage. Or even if they do have it, like someone like us, where we struggle, live paycheck to paycheck. You know, we don't make a lot of money, but an illness like Mario's, like, will bankrupt us. Because it's either, you know, pay your bills, put food on the table, pay your mortgage and your taxes, or pay for medication, doctor visits. Even just going to the doctors is expensive. It's a shame that we have to live this way. I mean, there just has to be a better way with pharmaceutical companies. You know, medications are ridiculous. Hospital visits, there's no reason for 2 hours hospital should cost me $6,000. There's just no reason.
That's actually, yeah, like, just so you know, this is kind of what we're focusing on in the documentary is...
Oh, it's crazy.
It's just
oh my
insane.
gosh. I can show you my bills that, you know, sometimes, and you know what? Mario's lucky because not that he's lucky, I can't say that, but like, I don't care. You know what? I haven't paid my mortgage in 2 months. Is this on or off? Okay. Well, whatever. I haven't paid my mortgage in 2 months. They get sick. I have to listen. I've been in and out of New York. It cost me $100 to park to get there back and forth. You know what? I'm going to take care of him. His medicines, then co-pays. He had 2 tests. You know, you got to pay out of pocket. I still have a copay, $600 for this test, $400 for this test, even with insurance. You know, and we've been lucky. These doctors in New York, they'll say, we'll bill you. But the doctors here, like, as soon as he goes to the surgical center, they want a payment. I had to sign promissory notes. I owe more doctors, I cannot even tell you. Now I stopped signing because they're like, don't sign anymore because if Mario signs, he could file bankruptcy as a kid. But can you imagine telling your child, we'll sign because we're not going to be able to pay for this and we'll just file bankruptcy even before you start your career?
Jeez. It's not right.
It's not right. Up, yeah. But now a lot of them are under me. I can't even apply for anything because all my negative things it's all medicals. But what are you going to do? They have to fix it. It really does. But yet then you get aggravated. Not that I get aggravated because you know what? Everyone needs medical care and medical coverage. But like I don't blame illegal immigrants. And I hope they come here legally and do it the right way. But you know what? It gets frustrating when you see that they get taken care of 100%, and then I'm like, you know what? Like, I've been in this country. I became a citizen. We work hard. I pay my taxes. You know, I pay everything I have to pay, and you cannot get anybody to help you. No agencies, and no one at all will help you.
Yeah, and can you just, what's going through your mind throughout this whole process? I mean, what's your, like, a daily, you know? You
know what? I tell you, I always took for granted. My husband worked for a township. We had state of New Jersey health benefits. And I always took it for granted. I never paid for anything. You know what? I never would have thought that we would come as a society that we'd have to worry about health care. It's not until you lose your health care that you realize, wow, everyone is like a paycheck from homeless if you get an illness. You know, so many people I know have chronic illnesses, you know, cancer, chemo, that they lose their homes, they lose everything. That has to be fixed. It can't be allowed. Our government really has to do something about that. Really does. And I said to myself, okay, right now we could do it. Like, we always seem to find a way. If I have to borrow, if I have to sell this, sell that, what would really happen if I couldn't have? I always tell Mario, you know, my son probably wouldn't be here today. And that's pretty sad to say that if you don't have insurance, you really could die. You could die in this country. Not that you really could. If you don't have insurance and you can't get the proper health care, you're going to die. And no one cares.
Yeah, and building off what you're saying right now, I mean, what do, for like, you know, people are going to watch this, and what do people that don't have to deal with someone or a child that has a chronic disease or cancer or anything, what don't they know that's happening, basically?
Well, like I said, I never knew either. I never cared because I had insurance. Yeah. So it was like, oh, there always had to be a reason why someone, oh, you know what? There's got to be a reason why they can't get insurance. Or there's got to be a reason why they can't pay. Oh, I can't believe that, you know, this costs that much. And blah, blah. And it's true. Until it happens to you, you really don't realize that people out there need help. You know, I don't know if there should be a general, like I know with the hospitals, they used to have charity care, okay? That helps in an emergency situation, but not if someone needs surgery. There's nothing out there. If you need surgery, if you need chemo, if you have cancer and need chemo, there's nothing out there. There's no charity care for that. Charity care only covers like emergency, if you have to go in for something in an emergency level. Like I had to do an emergency, okay? There needs to be something set in place. Everybody needs to be aware of that. You know, I think people are aware now, because even if you do have insurance coverage, it's not like it used to be. People are still paying large sums out of pocket, large deductibles, a large premiums for medication. So whereas it only used to affect a small amount of the population, I think it's affected more and more and more people as this affordable, especially since this Affordable Care Act has been in place. Okay. It's supposed to help people. It's really not helping people.
Yeah, it sounds like it's screwing them over.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, I had to lie. I mean, I felt guilty about it, but like I had to lie so that my son could live, which to me is ridiculous.
Moving a little bit away from the insurance stuff, what's kind of been your, I asked Mario the same question, what's kind of been your, you know, inspiration through this whole process? You know, you said you found a way to, you know, pay the bill. What has been your, like, inspiration, your motivation, your faith, I guess, and, you know?
After Mario's second surgery, because he got sick about 2 months after that, and we took him to the hospital here a couple of times, and no one could figure out what was wrong. We took him back to NYU. You know, and I just kept telling Mario, you just really have to have faith. You know, I have to put everything in the Lord's hand and say, you know what, he must know what he's doing, and you really just have to have faith, and that's it. That's what I tell him. You know, when he's been sick the last couple of months, and I just kept, you know, I keep telling him, get up, get out of bed, get dressed, and you just, not as good as some, but better than others. There's people out there that have it a lot worse. I always tell him he's blessed. We have a close family. You know, we all help each other out. We have a roof over our head, bed to sleep in, and you just gotta have faith. That's it. If this was years ago, he wouldn't even be here today. You know, I could not believe people died with ulcerative colitis. Could not believe it. Because malnourishment, they couldn't get nutrients in, they couldn't get the surgery, they couldn't get, and yeah, if this was a couple of years ago, we would have probably been in that situation. So, you know, I'm grateful for modern medicine, and I gotta have faith. That's it. That's all I could say, man. Gotta have faith.
Could you tell me, you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, I guess your daily routine helping Mario, especially at the worst of times and even now?
Actually, I'm on family medical leave because when he got sick this time, it's hard, especially with his food. Now he's pretty good. He'll help, you know, he does. But before, we used to do certain shakes every day, vitamins every day. I used to go to a health food store 2-3 times a day. Supplements, vitamins, raw eggs and shakes, coconut milk, organic, beef. I used to make beef broth, which would take like 12 hours to cook. You know, everything had to go in containers, and he had to eat a certain amount of times because he just didn't keep the nutrients in. And Mario can drop 10 pounds in 2 days. with no problem. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Now he's pretty good. He does a lot of it on his own, but he still needs like someone like to cook some of his meals for him, to make sure things are available for him. He's got to watch what he eats. So it's hard. It's hard.
Okay.
It's hard.
And for other parents out there, or other parents that are beginning to have to deal with something like this, what's your message for them?
Read up as much as you can. Become very knowledgeable on it. One thing I have learned, I mean, Mario did have great doctors, but they're doctors. They did what you want to do. Become knowledgeable. You can say yes, you can say no. You can create your own path. Follow your instincts on things. Mario was on some heavy dose medication, which we didn't want him on in the beginning. We did it because the doctors tell you that's what's good for you. Sometimes it's not. Side effects are terrible. Get as much knowledge as you can on the disease and on the illness, and you have to help yourself first. You have to help yourself and then have the doctors help you. You got to find a doctor that'll work with you, because there's a lot of bad information out there too. You got to be really careful.
Okay. Ryan.
Nailed it.
Yeah. That's yeah.
You know what it is? A lot of people, and Ryan knows, like, Mario started with this illness in 8th grade. So a lot of people knew he was sick, but nobody really knew what he had. Am I correct? I think, right?
I had no
So
idea.
he would get up at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning just to get ready to go to school, to be at school at 7. So it was a 2-3 hour process. So like, I watched him go through high school, through college like this, and the strength that he had. And people just didn't know, because they're like, yeah, he's sick, whatever. Most of the kids that had what Mario had don't even go to school. And not only did he go to school, he was involved in everything. Played sports, was involved with the class student council. He got involved in everything. Never once stayed home from school, unless he had to be. He used to get hospitalized twice a year. It always seemed that way. But he just every day got up and did it. Moved forward.
What has he taught you about life and?
Sometimes it's hard, because sometimes you just say to yourself, you know what, man, life is just not fair. And I tell him, you know what, it's not, but we just got to take what is given to us and try to make the best of it and move forward. And you learn from things. And you know what, he got a second chance, and now he's going to move forward with that. Some people don't have a second chance. But, sometimes it gets the best of you, even though you try to remain positive, you try to have faith. I mean, there's times that you just really are like, enough already. But then you just got to get up, shake yourself off, and, continue your day, and that's it. It's hard.
Yeah. I can't imagine.
It's hard. This was a tough one. Him coming home from Rutgers was tough, because we really thought he was past it. So this was really tough, especially. It was tough. It was especially tough for him, but it was really tough for us too, because what do you say? He calls up, he's like, I need to come home. There's really no words of encouragement you could say. It's like, okay, come home and we'll deal with it. But this was a tough one for him.
How is his 2 brothers, correct?
3.
3 brothers.
And a sister.
And a sister.
Mm-hmm.
How have they been a big factor in helping you, with Mario and just this whole...
Well, my son Vito, when he was at home, even my son Vincenzo. Nico's been away most of the time at school, but they've been great. Vincenzo's good with the cooking. Something has to be cooked. We're very careful of what we cook, if he can eat, if he can't eat. Like today, my daughter called, she wants pasta. Of course, Sunday, you got to make the sauce. Mario lately can't eat sauce, and I'm like, okay, so I got to make meatballs and sauce for her, and I got to make something else for Mario. So they're all good with the food with me, My son Vito was great when Mario was really, really ill. Like I said, I used to carry him in the house, This was the first, I think, that Nico has seen, because they lived together for a couple of weeks, how sick Mario really can get. Like this has affected Nico also, because he just gets up and goes, so no one sees. But everyone, his brothers and sisters, my husband, everyone's been really pretty much good with him. We all accommodate him. Anything he needs, whatever, They've been really good with him.
Great.
They've been good. Hmm.
Um,
And they're tough too. Like sometimes they'll be like, "Get up," just move, because listen, it's hard. Sometimes you don't want to get out of bed. It can be very depressing, So they try to like cheer him up. Get up. Let's do this. Let's do that. So that's good. He needs that too sometimes.
that's great. That's great.
Mhm.
I come from an Italian family too.
So yeah, right.
We got pasta waiting for me at home.
I know.
But that's all I have to ask you.
Okay.
I really appreciate you, telling us about all that stuff and
Mm-hmm.
offering us into your house.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. No, thank you for you know what I need people to see this and try like if this is happening to them, try to get support from people. Try to get people that went through what you went through. Ask them, how to do things. It's okay to ask for help. As an Italian, it's hard to do, but it's okay to do it. It's okay to ask for help, and try to be directed in the proper place where you can get help for yourself or for your kid. And that's what people have to realize they need to do.
Okay. And is there anything else that I didn't ask that you thought that you wanted to share?
No, that's
at any point. Okay.
that's good. That's about it. That's
Okay.
good. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
You
I
still,
try.
mic'd up. That was great.
It's been,